Good afternoon, everyone. House taxation meeting will be called to order. First item of business would be requests for bill introductions. Are there any requests at this time? Seeing none, I'll try to keep us moving right along here. I heard there's a basketball game going on or something. I know there's one later tonight, but we're here today to take action on a few of the non-controversial bills. So we're going to get started with that. First one I have on my list is House Bill 2232. And I would turn to the reviser for an overview on that one.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 2232 would provide that appraisal courses necessary to qualify for the designation of a registered mass appraiser and all continuing education appraisal courses necessary to retain such designation may be developed by the Director of Property Valuation. These courses would be in addition to any courses currently allowed by law to be approved by the Kansas Real Estate Appraisal Board.
All right, committee, is there any discussion or questions for the reviser? Representative Helgerson, go ahead. Discussion? Yes.
Chairman, which bill do you want to use as the vehicle for combining these? Or do you want to pass them all out individually?
I will leave that up to the committee. Do we want to bundle all these bills together? We have House Bill 2232, which is putting the appraisers training back under PVD for mass appraisals. We have House Bill 2317, which was the authority to email tax statements. We have 2306, which is a sales tax exemption on the suicide prevention headquarters. 2416, which is a sales tax exemption for area agencies on aging. And with the committee's discretion, if there's no objection, I'd also like to work 2421, which was the Grant County Sales Tax Authority that we heard yesterday. Representative Helgerson.
Mr. Chairman, if it'd be all right, could I ask the reviser which is easiest to combine them all into for you? And is it possible?
Yes, Adam.
Really, any sort of target is not there. It doesn't make it. There's really no difference. It can go in either one of the bills. Just trying to quickly go through them. I mean, they all appear to be tax bills. This one here really kind of refers to county appraisers. The qualifications. Is it a tax bill? I don't think there'd be a two-subject issue. That'd be the one I'd probably keep separate of any of them, just because it doesn't directly relate to tax. It's more of the county appraiser requirements.
Okay, so 2232 recommend to stand alone, perhaps?
Probably I would recommend that just because the other bills are specifically tax bills. These are more, this bill itself deals with requirements of a county appraiser, not necessarily a de facto tax bill.
Okay. Representative Helgerson.
Mr. Chairman, if you're willing, then I'll make a motion that we pass out House Bill 2232, favorable for passage.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Representative Epley for the second. Any further discussion? Representative Haswood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have an amendment that came from back home that I'd like to propose.
Representative, the amendment appears quite extensive. Would you mind You have the floor if you want to go ahead and explain the amendment.
Yeah, so I got an email from Douglas County Appraiser's Office recommending this amendment to change on page 2, line 9, develop to approve. And their reasoning is just to be consistent for both the Director of Property Evaluation and the Real Estate Appraisal Board. Will allow RMA candidates the full spectrum of the appropriate coursework needed to be a county appraiser in Kansas. So leave it to the will of the committee.
Okay. If he's willing, I'd like to invite Director Harper up and to weigh in on this potential amendment. This was a bill that was brought by Department of Revenue, but just curious if you have any consternation with this, if this meets your approval. Oh, go ahead and turn your mic on.
David Harper, Division of Property Evaluation. Okay. The only concern is when this bill originated a couple of years ago, part of the intent was to eliminate some courses provided by outside appraisal organizations for approval and move those under the Kansas Real Estate Appraisal Board. So personally, I for our agency, I like this. I like approved. My only fear is that as this moves further along, that could raise a case for opposition, I think.
Yeah, I understand that, because if it's developed, it's within the agency. If it's simply approved by you, it could be considered that it might be an outside source for that course.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Committee, are there any questions for the director? Oh, yes, Representative
Thank
Clifford.
you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I wonder if the language developed and approved by would satisfy what you're trying to create.
Representative Clifford had suggested developed and approved by.
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Well, I would hope if they developed them, they were approved by. But yeah, I appreciate the intent behind this. I would almost probably prefer the original language, though, just because I understand some of the reason that it was changed in the first place, and that would potentially open up that for a challenge again. But are there any questions on the what we'll call the back home amendment? Oh, we need a second on the Haswood amendment, please. Representative Sawyer for the second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Representative Haswood, you can close.
Thank you. I close and move my amendment.
Committee, you've heard the motion by Representative Haswood to amend. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no.
No.
The noes appear to have it. The noes do have it. The amendment fails. Representative Haswood, you still have the floor. Any further comments?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Further discussion on the bill? Seeing none, you can renew your motion, or you can close. Representative Helgerson. Buddy, you've heard the motion by Representative Helgerson to pass favorably House Bill 2232. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Representative Helgerson, to your point, rather than bundling all these together, I would like to keep similar content together. Would you be opposed to having the two sales tax exemptions bundled together? Okay. Committee, at this time, we'll take a look at House Bill, and I'll let the reviser, I think, maybe just review both of them at the same time, 2306 and 2416.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 2306 would provide a sales tax exemption for purchases of property and services by Kansas Suicide Prevention HQ Inc. And then 2416 provides a sales tax exemption for a not-for-profit corporation that is designated as an area agency on aging. And the sales tax exemption would be for purchases made by such entity, sales made by such entity, and construction materials and equipment by a contractor for a facility of such entity.
Thank you. Committee, any questions for the reviser? Representative Corbett.
On the last one you were talking about, was there a limit on how long they could have the exemption? Is it forever or until the project's done, or what is it?
It is permanent.
Okay.
Seeing no further questions, committee, I do know there's an amendment on 2416, so I would prefer to work that bill or bundle them into that. We can have the amendment that I know is coming, and then we can amend the contents of 2306 if that's the desire of the body. So at this time, I'll open up for motion on 2416. Representative Epley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would move the committee pass out House Bill 2416 favorably for passage.
Thank you. And do we have a second? Second from Representative Hogerson. Any discussion or amendments? Representative Turner.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I have an amendment. If you recall, when we had the conference that day, there are 11 agencies on aging, and 3 of them are already under a county. Thereby, they are exempt. And Representative Titus testified that the intent of their bill was to bring these agencies to the same common platform. However, if you remember, the bill itself also included wanting an exemption on purchases as well as sales. So the amendment would bring it back to just be on purchases.
And Adam, do you have that one to distribute? While they're doing that, do we have a second on the Turner amendment? Representative Bergkamp. While we're waiting, the score is 53-44 Kansas. Yeah, we've got TVs in here. What are we doing? Representative Turner, any further comments or explanation on the amendment?
Well, I guess I kind of gave it away in my announcement, but no, just trying to bring this to be truly on the same level with those that they are claiming that they want to be on the same level with. So with that, I close.
Committee, are there any questions or discussion on the Turner amendment? Seeing none, you may close.
I close.
Okay. Committee, you've heard the motion by Representative Turner to amend. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. We are back on the bill. Are there any further amendments or discussion? Representative Bergkamp.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I'm sure this will pass today, but in my mind, I'm still trying to mull over, these exemptions and what percentage of, I guess, money from the state should qualify an entity to where it's not competing against the state agency. And I guess even if state agency should be exempt at the end of the day. And I don't have the right answer, just something I kind of think about. And maybe at some point we can have a further discussion, but just wanted to kind of talk about that. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Representative Sanders.
So, Mr. Chairman, what exactly are we discussing now? We've amended one of these bills. So are we talking about voting on both of them together now?
We are on 2416, the sales tax exemption for the area agencies on aging. I would entertain a motion if the committee desires to include the contents of 2306.
All right, well, I'd make that motion.
Okay. That is a motion by Representative Sanders to amend. Do we have a second? Representative Francis. Is there any discussion on the contents of 2306 and the amendment? Yes. Seeing none, Representative Sanders, you may close.
I close and move my amendment.
Okay. Body, you've heard the motion by Representative Sanders to amend the contents of 2306 into House Bill 2416. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. We are back on the bill. Are there any further amendments or discussion? Seeing none. I just forgot who had the original motion. Representative Epley, that's right. Representative Epley, you may close.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I would like to move that the committee pass out House Bill 2416 as amended twice today.
Body, you've heard the motion by Representative Epley. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. The next bill we have is House Bill 2317, and we'll get an overview on that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 2317 would authorize county treasurers to transmit statements by electronic means rather than by first-class mail if the taxpayer is consented to service by the electronic means. These would apply to the tax statements, the tax information forms, and then for certain counties, unpaid property notices.
Any questions for the revisor? Representative Corbett.
In the bill, does it say if a taxpayer would like to keep it with just paper and not electronics, that's still available? Is it?
Yes, it is. It is totally optional. They have to opt in, and it's not an opt out type of thing. They only get the email notices if they opt in and want that. There's no further questions for the revisor. Is there any discussion on the bill? I will say I do have an amendment on this one, and we will probably, I would like to do that Grant County Sales Tax Authority as a standalone, because I want to try to put it on the consent calendar and see if we can get it through a little quicker. So we can't do that with this bill because I do have an amendment. Adam, if you want to pass that one out, please. As you can see, this is a really simple amendment. All it's accomplishing is inserting this same authority for the valuation notices. Do you want to explain any further, Adam?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, you're correct. Really, the only substantive change is in the first paragraph, the underline starting with alternatively. The remaining provisions of statute is a little antiquated and has gone through some cleanup. So all the stricken provisions and insert at the bottom is really just a cleanup of the statute.
Yeah, if you remember, we heard in the hearing that they wouldn't be opposed to just making this kind of streamlined, so it's the same for not only their property tax statements but also the valuation notices. So, any discussion, Representative Wassinger?
I'm just wondering, thank you, Mr. Chair, if you had permission from one of the proponents of this bill to change it?
I could check right quick.
Okay.
I do need a second from Representative Sawyer. Any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, I'll close and move my amendment. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. And any further discussion on the bill? Seeing none, did we have a motion on it? Okay. Is there a motion for action on the bill? Representative Helgerson. Is there a second? Representative Francis. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. And our final item of business for the day would be House Bill 2421. That's the Grant County Jail Authority that we heard yesterday. I don't usually like to turn things around this quick, so without objection, I would like to go ahead and work this bill today. Is there any objection? Seeing none, is there any discussion, or do we need a review? We just heard it yesterday. So is there a motion or any discussion? Representative Helgerson.
I move that we pass out 2421 favorable for passage, and since it's of a non-controversial nature, that be placed on the consent calendar.
And second from Representative Francis. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Congratulations, everyone. We've completed our work for the day, and I do want to say congratulations to the carriers of the bills on the floor today. We kind of had the tax marathon, so good job for all of that work, and have a good weekend. We'll see you next week.